Hey, this is the IELTS tips from A to Z with Stanislav Boyko. Let me tell you about why questions in IELTS speaking. I often hear how candidates get disappointed and even demotivated when they're asked why multiple times on the IELTS speaking test. They think that something was wrong with their previous answers and they feel that examiners want to decrease their score. This is what candidates usually believe. But now I'd like to tell you what actually happens on the IELTS test. Let's begin with the fact that there is no criterion for task response in IELTS speaking. It means explaining why something happens is recommended, but not necessary all the time. And if, say, in part 3 you're talking about something and you give your ideas, you provide some examples, but you don't always give explanation to your answers, examiners will not decrease the score. They, however, can increase it. They can give you a second chance. And this is done with the question why. They simply want you to speak more in order to get a high score. I want to tell you one story from my childhood. When I was at school, once I was given homework when I needed to read a story and then retell it in front of the class. So I did that. I went to the blackboard and I spoke about the story, but then my teacher looked at me and said that she would give me a good mark, not the excellent mark. And I asked her whether it was possible to maybe answer some additional questions in order to get the score that I thought I deserved. Well, she told me, let me quote, "If you want to get a high score, don't speak only about the story. Tell me, what do you think about that? Explain why the main character acted that way. Why?" So she asked me that, and I told my point of view in order to get an excellent mark. The same happens on the IELTS speaking test. You should not be afraid of why questions. You should remember, when you get them, you are given a second chance in order to get a high score. So don't look at examiners like at enemies. They just want to help.